Okay, folks, we have returned. Looks like I'm going to get to go to this next case for free, thanks to Isaac, Madeline, and Charles. Stockbroken. That's what it's called. Okay. Matthew, I can't believe the stock market has crashed. This is extremely bad news for Concordia. As soon as news of Clarissa Rochester's murder broke out, everyone started selling their stocks, and now the stock market is plummeting down. This does not bode well, Matthew. Financial crises drive a lot of people to extremes. What's all the ruckus about? Oh, my head. Matthew, I have an awful hangover. Who knew such joy could lead to such pain? Charlie and I celebrated moving in together last night, but I think we celebrated a bit too much. Senior Trooper Matthew, there's been... Constable Ramirez, please don't shout. I'm sorry, Miss O'Malley. There's been a murder at the Wolf Street Stock Exchange. A murder? In that case, I'd better have some more of Viola's hangover remedy. And then, Matthew, let's away to the stock exchange. Okay. Oh, he's up close. Victim's body. Four clues, okay. I got the first star. Yeesh, that fella looks how I feel right about now. I'm sorry, Matthew, you're right. That was a very callous remark. The man's name tag says Abner Milton. I'm guessing he was a stockbroker. They work with investors to buy and sell stocks in the market. Judging from the wound on his chest, it's pretty obvious he was stabbed, and no doubt this bloody dagger is the murder weapon. I agree, we will need a sample of those white particles on the handle. Very perceptive, Matthew. It's possible this matchbook was dropped by either the victim or his killer. If you can figure out where it came from, it might provide a lead. It's a good thing Viola's hangover cure has already kicked in. Otherwise, I'm not sure I'd have been eager to rummage through this garbage bin. Let's dig in. Alright, I need to get some stars real quick. I only have one. So, I'm going to start the autopsy here. And I'll be right back while I get me some stars. Okay. I have 8 stars rather. Pretty sure that's going to be enough for me. And there's 8. Let's get these particles you took from the murder weapon's handle to Viola for inspection. This is 3 hours. Oh, let me try the matchbook first, rather. '98 Maple Avenue, Concordia. Oh, I think that's the next scene. The logo on this matchbook looks familiar, and the address is nearby. 98 Maple Avenue, Concordia. But of course, Matthew, the three orbs are the official symbol of pawnbrokers. The matchbook definitely came from a pawn shop. You're right, Matthew. We must inspect the shop for possible clues. Let's go. Okay. There's the first,
Have you ever had a murder staged to appear as a suicide?
first one. Before I go there,
Did you see the text? Did your suicide note?
I'm gonna get the trash bin out of the way.
We want murder. The husband is always the prime suspect.
Ooh.
Text.
Bingo! There was a calling card in the waste paper bin. Look at this message. AM, watch your step. This must have been for our victim, Abner Milton. Someone threatened our victim, and that person seems to be a certain Easton Belmont. Let us seek him out. Okay. Mr. Belmont, Senior Trooper Matthew and I are here to investigate the murder of Abner Milton. First the crash and now this. Oh, this day keeps getting worse and worse. How well did you know the victim? Abner was my stockbroker. He actually made me quite rich until everything went to the dogs. If he was making you money, why did you warn him to watch his step? That wasn't a threat. I merely sensed a turn in the market and told him to be careful. He had a bright future ahead of him. Now he's dead, and the crash leaves the rest of us in the dust. Okay, now we gotta get the showroom. It says showroom. Investigated. Okay, I'm going to try for the first star here. Okay. Let's see if I can find everything and get the first star in the process. This is going to be a tough one because this is the new scene. There we are. Matthew, our victim, definitely came here. This handkerchief is embroidered with his initials. It's covered in some kind of powder. We had better get a sample. Good thinking, Matthew. This pawnbroker license might give us a new suspect. If you manage to decipher the name that's on it. Ezra Bleak. Well, there's 9 energy. This pawnbroker license says it belongs to an Ezra Bleak. Why does that name sound familiar? Oh, you met this Ezra Bleak back in New Haven, Matthew? Right, I remember. Hadn't his pawn shop burnt down in the Great Fire? Well, let us see if this Mr. Bleak knew the victim. It's been a while since we've seen Ezra Bleak. Ah, the Concordian Flying Squad. Come to pawn your possessions? With the market crash, everyone's flocking here to hawk their valuables. It's better than free advertising. How compassionate of you, but we're not here to pawn anything. We're investigating the murder of Abner Milton, and we know he visited your shop. Did you know him? Abner who? I suppose he could have been a customer. I've seen so many people in the past couple of days. Probably just another dimwit who lost his life savings playing the world's fanciest carnival game. Well, that's convenient. Victim's handkerchief now. Got it. Only 6, but that's alright. Well, Matthew, let's put this powder sample you collected from the victim's handkerchief under the microscope and see if we can identify it. I have all this energy, I might as well do it now. I think it's pretty safe to say that I'm not going to go under the threshold again on the internet version. Hates makeup. Matthew, the powder on Abner's handkerchief is Belle Baptiste. It's very expensive makeup. Even my mother can't afford it. Which means it evidently was not left on the handkerchief by Abner himself. In fact, the only person I know to be wearing this brand is none other than Lady Highmore. Could she have crossed paths with our victim at the pawn shop? I know she's got a taste for antiques. You're right. The easiest way to solve this mystery is by talking to Lady Highmore. How she knew the victim? Madeline, I've been meaning to congratulate you on your relationship with your young friend. I heard it ruffled your mother's feathers quite a bit. Yes, scandalizing my mother is one of the many benefits of this relationship. Anyway, we're here on a murder investigation. Did you know an Abner Milton? It seems he lent you his handkerchief. Abner. Ah, yes, he was once at a party, though I can't imagine who had invited him. He spilled his drink on me and then lent me his handkerchief to sop it up. He was murdered, you say? I suppose bloodshed at the stock exchange comes as no surprise. The crash has everyone in a terrible panic. I myself had quite a lot of money in stocks. If this continues, I may have to seek out my first ever job. I pray I'm only jesting. And I will let these two run their courses, and I'll see you all then. I'll have all stars collected by then. Okay, folks, we've returned. Let's get the results of the white particles.
At least we're keeping the trades. That's a nice one.
Hello, Matthew. It seems you have quite a stimulating case to solve.
We'll come out on Island News at 6.
How do you mean, Viola?
You
see, the powder you sample you collected from the murder weapon is a chemical known as amphetamine. Amphetamine is a stimulant that is now rising in popularity as a remedy for conditions ranging from sinus congestion to narcolepsy. We can't be sure of the specific reason your killer uses amphetamine, but they definitely do.
State-funded pre-kindergarten classrooms next school year. Those stories and much more coming up on Island News at 60. Thanks, Robert. After the break, volunteers are...
I have a feeling our killer will find life in prison a lot less stimulating.
It's a new day. A fresh
And the victim's body now. You know, Matthew, before the crash, I wanted to take a stab at playing the stock market. I didn't realize the market could stab me back. But to the point, as you know, the victim was stabbed to death with a dagger. But I also noticed yellow sauce and breadcrumbs on the victim's suit, which turned out to be chili and mustard from a chili dog. The victim's stomach not only was empty of chili dog, but in fact, he had an ulcer, which means he'd have stayed clear of such spicy foods. Which means that chili stain was left on your victim's suit by his killer, most likely when they grabbed Abner to stab him. Well, let's hope they'd have room for seconds, because Matthew's going to serve them some justice. Matthew, people are still reeling from the stock market crash, where someone who doesn't have to worry about their finances anymore is our victim, Abner Milton. So far, apart from Mr. Belmont, who is getting financial advice from the victim, Abner doesn't seem to have made a big impression on anyone. Lady Highmore barely remembered meeting him at a party, and the pawnbroker, Mr. Bleak, claims they've never met. I guess the investigation continues. At least my hangover is completely gone and the nausea with it. Who's hungry? Oh no, the nausea's back. Matthew, let's hope Maddie recovers quickly, because I got news. I know exactly where your killer bought their chili dog. And we'll start Chapter 2 of Stockbroken after this. We are back now. Let's start Chapter 2 of Stockbroken.
Every dollar donated stays right here in Hawaii to benefit patients at Kapi'olani and the Children's Miracle Network.
Wow, Matthew, I knew the competitive world of finance was cutthroat, but I didn't expect it to be so bloody. In the grinding gears of finance, Abner Milton got the teeth, and we're still lacking a clear motive or even a credible suspect. At least the hangover I got from celebrating Charlie moving in with me is mostly gone. I don't feel nauseous at all anymore. Matthew, I know where your killer buys their chili dogs. Oh no, the nausea is back. Well, pinch your nose, because you're heading to Chili Town. There's a chili dog cart parked in front of the stock exchange steps.
Well, it's official. Last year was the warmest since record-keeping began 137 years ago.
Temperatures round things out, and here's proof of it. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration confirmed it today in their annual State of the Climate report. 2016 set new records for global sea surface temperature. Sea surface temperatures, along with greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and methane. Researchers say the record heat is because of long-term global warming and an El Niño year. The hottest year on record before the report, 2015. Before that, 2014.
Pretty much every year we see it go up.
Starting to see a trend.
And right now, above average temps here in Hawaii.
It's been up.
You say 90?
Yeah.
We'll get 90 today.
A couple of places. And we've got a couple more months.
Box of flyers, hat.
Thanks so much for joining us for Idle News at 5. See you in 30 minutes with Idle News at 6.
Okay.
Couples experience at Pinta Massage. Surprise your significant other with a romantic.
And I did get the first star. So that is certainly good news.
To celebrate, join us for the 5,000 store sale. Don't miss the daily deals and incredible savings on hundreds of items throughout the store. Friday through Monday.
Another 10,000 coins coming my way. Extra good news there. Well, Matthew, I think you like a chili dog, officers? No, thank you, miss. The name's Deirdre Calhoun. Welcome to my portable greasy spoon. Try a chili dog and I guarantee you'll be back again soon. Right, Miss Calhoun. If you wouldn't mind stepping aside, Senior Trooper Matthew and I would like to speak with you momentarily, please. Matthew, I see you didn't have your eye out for only chili dogs. This box of flyers is an ideal place for a fleeing murderer to hide incriminating evidence. And considering how fancy this flask is, it cannot have been on the ground long, or someone would have swiped it. The symbol on it might tell us to whom it belongs. Well, we have our work cut out for us, Matthew. I vote we start by speaking with Miss Calhoun. And I will second that too.
Latest episode on demand.
I second that too, Maddie.
So, how is he? He's done this surgery. He won't tell me anything. I know this is difficult. Can you tell me what happened?
Miss Calhoun, we're investigating the murder of Abner Milton. Did you know him? Know him? I saw Abner every single day. Never bought from me though, on account of his ulcer. I'm not surprised he got murdered. Stock people are sharks. What do you mean by that? The crash got them all scared, and when sharks are scared, they lash out. I make a lot of money selling to these suits. I'm here from morning till night. I don't even leave for lunch. Got all I need right here in my cart. Now if you'll excuse me, it's nearly the lunchtime rush.
Doesn't make any sense.
Ooh, a bloody book. Matthew, that book is covered in blood. Surely someone deliberately hid the book in that box of flyers. If we're lucky, that someone is our killer. I agree. We'd better send this book to Viola, and fast. This is 12 hours. And let's examine the seal.
Looking good for a break work. What you got? Good ass slipper. We got set up and tricks us with the suspect in a rash of break.
There we are. Wilson family seal. The engraving on this flask you found is the Wilson family seal. Wait, didn't we meet a Lord Wilson in Sinner's Inn? Yes, you're right. His son Barnaby was beaten to death. It makes sense that Lord Wilson would have business on Wolf Street. Let us go find him. It's 2.
What do you want to tell me?
Need that Willis guy.
Why don't you make a card and I'll have to give you a call? 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He's done for the day.
Lord Wilson, a stockbroker named Abner Milton, was murdered, and we found your flask near the crime scene. It was unnecessary to return the flask. I could always purchase another. That's not the point. Did you know? Of course I didn't know this stockbroker. I manage my own investments. All of these nincompoops running around in a tizzy because their stocks aren't performing. It's absurd. I can tell you, Senior Trooper Matthew, that in finance, as in all things, instincts are the most important. Lucky for me, I've got them in spades.
Wants to do these things.
Sure.
What time o'clock back here?
And we'll let the bloody book run its course. See you when that's done. Okay, folks, we've returned. I'm going to speed up the bloody book because I'm under unlimited energy happy hour. So, let's go ahead and do this. You must use green-tinted glasses to examine everything around you. Sometimes the means to make an investment are already in one's possession. There is some very good advice in this book you gave me, Matthew. Viola, it's a clue. We gave it to you to examine, not to read. Obviously, I did both, Madeline. The blood on the book matched your victims. But I also found traces of amphetamine on every page corner, as if left by someone licking their finger to turn the page. So what you're saying is, our killer read this book. If only the blood hadn't made the title illegible. That's easy enough. This is Make a Killing in Shillings by Clarissa Rochester. Clarissa Rochester? What a coincidence, Matthew just investigated her murder, and her death was the catalyst for the market crash. Well, now we know our killer was a fan of Clarissa's book. It's only a matter of time before their penny drops. Matthew, Viola quoted the book's advice about looking through green-tinted glasses to see the monetary value of things. You're right. Coincidentally, a pawn shop is one place people go to trade objects for money. It's possible our killer had the same idea. Yes, it would be a good idea to do a second sweep at the pawn shop.
What secret? You got cheese in your ears? I said, give me Get away from me, you bloodhounds. I have nothing to say to you. Except this. From now on, when my name appears in print, it better read Blanche Devereaux, comma, 39.
Okay.
She has a lot of nerve showing up here tonight. Let's try to be polite, Rose. Hi, Blanche. Blanche, I said hello. I don't normally speak to people who call me a liar. Now, Blanche, we're in public now. There's no reason to be upset. Oh, yes, there is. I don't like you. And horizontal stripes make you look like Roger Ebert. There, now you really
Okay. I already see a clue.
I'm sorry, I just got caught up in a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could have your attention,
Pocket watch.
I have a few words I'd like to say. First off, I want to thank all of you. This has been a great campaign. Tomorrow at this time, I could actually be your
There we go.
I don't want to be your city councilman unless I can win this job honestly, and there is something that I have not been honest with you about. Blanche Devereaux and I never had an affair.
Matthew, I doubt the victim could have ever afforded such an expensive watch. But if your instincts are tingling, let's retrieve the text on that tag.
Blanche is too good a person.
That torn paper looks more promising. Let's piece it back together.
And that's why I'm going to be honest with you about something else, too. I'm not who you think I am. In 1968, I had an operation. Until that time, I lived life as part-time stenographer and mild-mannered housewife, Anna Maria Bonaducci.
Do not trust this man with your money. Matthew, someone made a libelous poster of our victim. Look at the caption. It reads, "Do not trust this man with your money." Whoever made this poster really wanted to get back at Abner. Good question, Matthew. What was this poster doing in Mr. Bleak's pawn shop? We'd better have another word with him.
I feel like bullshit for their characters scheming against the top insurer for no reason. So, why don't we like Flo? She has the name your price to her when we want it. But why?
Okay.
Why don't we actually do any work?
Why do you only own one suit?
It's just the way it is. I've developed all this character. You're right. Thanks, Bill.
Mr. Bleak, you told us he didn't know Abner Milton, but Senior Trooper Matthew found this poster here in the shop, which proves otherwise. Oh, you saw that. Well, it had to be posted. Everyone deserved a fair warning that the man was as slippery as the author of Make a Killing in Shillings. Slippery? Did he make some bad investments for you?
Once daily Honora.
Abner wasn't my stockbroker, he was my employee. I taught him everything there is to know about pawnbroking. Then suddenly he quit, lured away by the fancy money of the stock market, leaving me unstaffed. I never heard from him again. I can't do all this work myself. I've been using that new amphetamine to stay alert during my long hours, and I live on chili dogs from the cart down the street. You can certainly hold a grudge, Mr. Bleak. Let us hope all of this didn't move you to commit actions you'll regret. Well, he's in the running.
Ask your doctor about Honora.
Get your first prescription free at Honoro.com.
For years, men have enjoyed their man caves without guilt.
Now, it's Mama's turn. Welcome to my she shed.
Where my meals are forbidden.
Now the pocket watch.
Queen, and my treats, only for me. Fiber 1 90-calorie cookies, all mine.
Brilliance. 100% leak-proof guarantee. Brilliance.
Okay, Easton Belmont. Oh, that's Easton Belmont's watch. Matthew, this pocket watch belonged to Easton Belmont, the investor. This watch was pawned days ago. Clearly, Mr. Belmont's finances were already in a difficult position before the crash even happened. Matthew, let's go have another word with Mr. Belmont.
It's free. This back-to-school season, shop like a pro. Download Flip today.
Mr. Belmont, I thought you said the victim had made you rich, but this expensive watch you found at the pawn shop implies otherwise. That fool had been losing his touch for weeks. He kept putting my money into bad stocks. Even I could see his placements made no sense. I've heard make a killing in shillings. I know a thing or two about investment. But the idiot cost me a fortune before the crash even hit. Now I have nothing left. My whole fortune is gone. Damn it, my throat's closing up again. I need some more amphetamine. Stress like this makes my throat constrict. Handcuffs in prison cells are also constrictive, as you'll soon learn if we discover you killed Abner Milton.
I think so.
Well, Matthew, it seems that our victim made a few enemies. Mr. Bleak was so angry at Abner leaving his employment that he tried to ruin our victim's new career. And Mr. Belmont was enraged by the loss of money resulting from Abner's poor advice. For an individual twisted enough to commit murder, jealousy and frustration are both perfectly valid motives. Senior Trooper Matthew, I've got great news. I think I know who killed your victim. What?
Silly putty road.
Okay.
I don't know, Rose. I just want to forget the whole incident. It's been a terrible night and I am very upset.
And we'll see you guys for Chapter 3. Okay, folks, we've returned. Let's start Chapter 3 of Stockbroken. Still under a limited energy happy hour. Well, Matthew, seems Abner made some enemies during his short career as a stockbroker. And the angriest of those enemies are people who worked with him. Senior Trooper Matthew, I've got great news. I think I know who killed your victim. You do? Matthew, this is fantastic. So who killed Abner Milton, Constable? Well, I mean, I don't have a name per se, but an anonymous tipper said they heard the victim get into a huge fight with someone at the stock exchange yesterday. I see. Did this anonymous tipper mention anything more? They said there was a loud crash. Maybe something broke during the fight. Ah, well, Matthew, this could still be a lead into Abner's murder. I agree. Let us have another look at the victim's desk and see what we find. And let's get to the next
Big idea.
case.
Will people know it means I'll get the lowest
Crime
price
scene.
guaranteed on our rooms by booking direct at choicehotels.com? Hey, bada boom, bada boom.
Well, we'll see what happens. If I feel generous enough, I'll go ahead and speed this up too.
rise to the occasion. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
We only have 15 seconds to show you how Papermate Inkjoy gel pens dry 3 times faster than the leading gel pen. So we asked everyone we know to help out.
Broken device.
See? No smears. Papermate Inkjoy gel pens.
Depression is a tangle of multiple
Paper.
symptoms.
Ah. Wallet.
That's why there's
And that's also a clue.
a prescription medication for depression. Trintellix may help you take a step forward in improving your depression. Tell your
730,000.
healthcare professional right away if your depression worsens or you have unusual changes in mood, behavior, or thoughts of suicide. Antidepressants can increase these in children, teens, and young adults. Do not take
Good eye,
any
Matthew.
drugs. Tell
This
your
broken
healthcare
device could have
professional
something to do with
medications,
the
including
argument our anonymous
psychiatric
tipper mentioned
medications,
hearing
to
yesterday.
avoid potentially
Let's fix it.
life-threatening condition. Increase
The
physical
AM on this
activity
wallet must mean it's
especially
Abner's.
if taken
You're
with
right, there's
aspirin
bound to be
or
something of interest to us inside.
Market was some division.
But what is this newspaper? Our victim is on the cover. The headline reads, "Drama on the stock market steps." I agree. We had better retrieve the missing information. Let's get to work, Matthew. Let's get to work. Matthew, I've got the feeling we're getting closer and closer to our killer.
Shop JCPenney's back to school sale. Get in Friday 3 p.m. to Saturday 1 p.m. for 9-to-day doorbusters. Like up to 50% off Arizona jeans for him and her, and home goods. And 60% off insertion for her and the kids and bras. Plus save $10. Hurry and Saturday. That's getting your pennies worth.
In just days, the Publishers Clearinghouse $15 million summer prize.
Well, that's an interesting contraption.
Don't miss your last chance to win. Hurry.
So you have reassembled this device. I still can't tell what it is exactly. But I know exactly who will. I'm sure Charlie will be able to help us. Let's get this device in for examination.
Realdash.com. I got this $1,200 computer for $100.71.
These aren't actors, they're real people who got real savings at DealDash.com, the fair and honest bidding site. At DealDash.com,
Okay.
you can save up to 99%, but hurry, everything must go.
And shipping is always free.
Visit DealDash.com and start bidding today.
Hello.
We'll see what happens. 491 to go until I go up another level. Aha! A check. Matthew, what's that check you found in the victim's wallet? Wait a second, this check was signed by Lord Wilson. He gave our victim 200 shillings. Either Lord Wilson is very generous with his money, or he lied when he said he never asked the victim for financial advice. Matthew, let's go have another word with Lord Wilson.
What the hell are you doing with my gun? Calm down, Stan. It's just a routine search. I can't believe that you're so desperate that you'd stoop to this. You can't talk to me that way. I was talking to Ted. Let's go. Look, Stan, I'm not a child. I'll go when I'm ready. Good for you, Ted. Okay, I'm ready.
Lord Wilson, you gave us a great show when we last spoke, declaring that you rely on instincts and not brokers. However, we have proof you gave the victim 200 shillings. What was that for? If not to pay him for his counseling services? A man of my standing doesn't have to defend himself. He does if he's a murder suspect.
I didn't do anything wrong. Ted and I just...
Fine, I did ask Abner for help. My instincts were not working as well as anticipated. There was just so much stress in the stock market, I couldn't keep up. Even the amphetamines recommended to me by Lady Highmore did nothing to help. So I swallowed my pride and asked Mr. Milton for help, but that blockhead refused. He took my check and gave me nothing in return. You sound like a man who isn't used to people telling him no, Mr. Wilson. Let's hope this did not push you to unfathomable acts.
Ted told me that the two of you had absolutely nothing in common.
Well, obviously, he's dull and has dubious taste, to say the least.
That is some schoolgirl attempt to get my goat. You're wasting your breath.
I'm simply questioning how any man could possibly choose you over me.
It's not working, Blanche.
I suppose there could be some exceptions. Convicts who haven't seen a woman in 25 years.
It's still not working, you bimbo.
Matthew, is that Deidre in the newspaper standing next to a crushed hot dog cart? I guess this is the drama on the stock market steps the newspaper was talking about, and judging from our victim's snide smile, he had something to do with it. I agree. We need to ask Miss Calhoun about what happened right away.
The Marines are looking for a few good men who have not slept with black.
Senior Trooper Matthew, I knew you'd be back. No one can resist my dogs for long. We're not here for that. We saw the article in the paper. What happened between you and Abner Milton? Abner kept coming over and hassling me, telling me to move my cart, saying the chili smell turns his stomach. But I couldn't move. I do good business here. Everyone loves my chili dogs, even important people like Mr. Belmont. So I say I won't move, and the lunkhead pushes my cart into the street. Wham! A truck mows right into it. Abner, destroying your livelihood must have made you pretty angry. I imagine getting another cart wasn't easy. It wasn't, but I pulled through, didn't I? I even improved my business, thanks to that Rochester lady's book on business. Nah, Senior Trooper Matthew, I'm all the better for it in the end. Might even hire an intern soon. Now Belmont is in the running.
What good can you possibly be today? I'll be there. I'll smile. I'll nod. Fortunately, a lot of them hear voices. I'll just tell them one of them is mine.
And let's see, I have 27 minutes remaining. I have 4 more stars to collect, so sit tight, folks. Okay, I got all the stars, so let's speed this up. But I will not be speeding up anything after this. Hi, Maddie. I'm glad to see you've recovered from our little celebration last night. I'm surprised you weren't ill yourself. You drank almost as much as I did. But anyway, what can you tell us about the device Matthew found on Abner's desk? Working as a stockbroker, your victim was constantly crunching numbers. This is one of the first ever machines capable of handling calculations of great complexity and magnitude. This is great, but that doesn't explain how this machine ended up broken to pieces. Well, the fingerprints I found on the machine might hold the answer to that. A lot of them belong to your victim, of course, but another set of fingerprints belong to Lady Highmore. Lady Highmore? But if her fingerprints are on this machine... Matthew, does this mean she's the one a witness heard fighting with our victim yesterday? For someone like Lady Highmore to break something in a fit of rage, the victim must have really overstepped his bounds. Let us go talk to her, Matthew.
The company will have to implement an accounting and billing system. It will also set up a testing period in which about 20,000 vehicle owners will manually report odometer.
Lady Highmore, how did you happen to break Abner Milton's calculator? I had hoped you wouldn't find that. It was the result of a personal disagreement between the two of us. Personal disagreements are precisely what Senior Trooper Matthew is in the business of investigating, Lady Highmore. Very well. First of all, I haven't the faintest idea why Abner was invited to play in the whist draft with us, but he was. After a streak of bad luck in my games, just when I ran out of money, I received a miraculous hand of cards and put up a personal heirloom as ante, confident of a win. But that weasel Abner won. I was livid. I tried every negotiation tactic I had learned from reading Make a Killing and Shillings, but no matter how I pleaded, he refused to give my heirloom back. So yesterday, on my way to buying some chili dogs for a party I was throwing, I like to keep my guests on their toes, you know. I decided to pay Abner a visit and break something precious of his. I must confess that the act of vengeance was swift and unsatisfying, and I had to have my manicure redone.
So he's just like, give me your bag, and kept tugging at it. So she was like, oh my god, and she just gave it to him.
County Morrow tells me she and 2 of her co-workers...
Well, Matthew, it's clear our victim had a knack for driving people to murderous rage.
He told me the same thing, give me your bag.
I agree. I wouldn't have anticipated such fury from Lady Highmore. But would she have gone so far as murder? And I have trouble imagining Miss Calhoun recovering from the loss of her livelihood without retaliation. Lord Wilson's desperation also makes him a likely candidate for murder. The day is getting away from us, Matthew. We better do another sweep of the stock exchange stats before the end of the day rush clears away any remaining clues.
Hard to believe that happened because you never think that would happen to me or anybody that I know. The car he got in was like a greenish color. I don't remember the model, the make and model, but it had like darts in.
We reached out to Honolulu police about the incident. A spokeswoman tells me the 3 victims did the right thing by handing over their property and putting their safety first. We also contacted Mike Heller Premium Outlets to find out what changes will be made in light of what happened and the ongoing issue of theft in the area. A spokesman tells me it's
11:48 to go.
to disclose any security changes made, but in a statement says, we take several proactive security measures, including maintaining a continuous security patrol of our mall and surrounding parking lots. Mike Heller Premium Outlets also tell me that they have a program called At Your Service. Customers and employees
Okay, which is a big clue? Do I see any?
can be found at the information center or from store cashiers.
Oh, dagger sheath.
Sarah Madison, KHON 2 News.
Scroll. Hot dog. Bone blue box. Croissant's the last one, and it's right there. Five.
Meanwhile, the tensions continue to rise with North Korea. President Trump
Okay.
today doubling down on his warning. Just 2 days after
Matthew, we couldn't have asked for a more perfect clue. This is the sheath to our murder weapon. It appears the leather is stained. We'll need a sample of the substance. And this small tin is labeled amphetamine. It could belong to our killer. The box is empty. Good eye, Matthew. There seems to be some fibers caught in its hinge. Let's take a closer look at them. Chin up, Matthew. We're closer than ever to catching Abner's killer.
North Korea, not backing down, saying the U.S. would suffer a shameful defeat and final doom if it persists in extreme military adventure, sanctions, and pressure. On Wednesday, North Korea claimed that it will have
Okay.
a place to strike
Let's see if I can get this right. 8. Green substance. What is that green substance you collected from the dagger sheath, Matthew? We'll need Viola to test it for us. Let's get the sample to her quickly.
Following up, it's been almost a month since that massive fire at Marco Polo, and firefighters
15 hours.
that place are now being told to bag up their gear and turn it in. Always investigating has been tracking the asbestos concerns raised by firefighters. They question why their protective gear wasn't flagged right away for potential asbestos exposure.
9. Fibers. Hopefully those fibers you pulled from the amphetamine tin will tell us something about our killer. Let's get them to Viola for testing immediately.
After it collects the gear,
I'll see you guys then when these two are done. I will not be speeding anything up anymore. I'll see y'all then. Okay, folks, we have returned, and let's get the results of the green substance. Hello, Viola. Any luck identifying the strange green substance Matthew collected from the dagger sheath? Yes, the substance is a special polish formulated for use on that new rockolite material. Rockolite? What a coincidence. Charlie gave me a key rack made of that same material just yesterday. Rockolite is a strong synthetic resin that was invented recently. For now, it is mostly used to make brooches and small accessories. I'd say finding this rockolite polish on the sheath of your murder weapon is evidence that your killer is sporting some themselves. Well, Matthew, let's hope it's easier to identify a murderer's accessory than an accessory to murder.
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant mutilated and killed 4 people in under 48 hours. The blood was found on clothing.
Matthew, this clue you brought has my stomach in knots. I have a feeling you're making a pun, but I'm not sure how it relates to the fibers you gave me to test. I will get to it in a second. First, let me tell you that the fibers are soaked with the victim's blood. I will get to it in a second. First, let me tell you that the fibers were soaked with the victim's blood. So it really was the killer's amphetamine tin. Fantastic. And this is where my little joke about knots comes into play. Those fibers are fine silk, of the kind used to make ascot ties. Oh, I get it. Ascots can be tied in many different ways, hence your stomach and nuts. Clever, Viola. Thank you, dear. And what this proves is that your killer was an ascot, Matthew. Well, an ascot will look pretty funny with the killer's prison uniform. Matthew, we have all we need to catch our killer. Let's go get him. Let's see.
Organic dementia. Disease attacking his brain. Many strokes. Early onset Alzheimer's. Brain tumor.
Hey, let me see the other ones first.
Do you know how much pressure I am?
Nope, not Ezra Bleak.
He butchers 4 innocent people. He scares the hell out of us.
It's not Lady Highmore. And it's certainly not Frederick Wilson. It's Easton Belmont. Yep. Easton Belmont, you're under arrest for the murder of Abner Milton. You can't be serious. Why would I do that? Abner was helping me. But he made you lose money, which is why you read Clarissa's book, the same book we found stained with the victim's blood and your amphetamine powder. That book is everywhere right now. Anybody who's reading is reading it. What about the traces of chili dog you left on Abner's suit when you killed him? Everyone at the exchange eats chili dogs. But not everyone wears a Rockolite brooch. Give it up, Easton. You left Rockolite polish on the sheath of the dagger you used to stab Abner. Fine, I did it. I killed Abner. The fool should have never put his nose in my business. If that idiot hadn't looked too closely at my bank bills, he'd still be alive today. What about your bank bills, Mr. Belmont? Should we too look closely at them? I have already said too much. I killed Abner. Isn't that all you care about? Take me to jail. I won't say a word more. Suit yourself. Easton Belmont, you're under arrest for the murder of Abner Milton. Easton Belmont, you are being charged with the murder of Abner Milton. The transcript from your arrest implies you killed Mr. Milton because he found out something about your bank bills. I take it you are using counterfeit money, is that it? Do you know how severe a crime it is to use fake money? I doubt it's severe as killing a man. You have no proof about the money, so just get on with it and sentence me for the murder. I shall make my own decisions, Mr. Belmont, and I can still prosecute you for refusing to cooperate with the police. Mr. Belmont, for the murder of Abner Milton and further obstruction of justice, this court hereby sentences you to 25 years in prison. Hopefully that's enough time for you to reflect on your greed. After the treacherous world of finance, prison should be a piece of cake. Well, Matthew, it's a dog-eat-dog world here in Wolf Street. You got that right. Yes, very funny, Rose. But our next order of business is to investigate suspicions that our killer is using counterfeit money. The crisis is bad enough already. The last thing we need is for that to encourage more corruption, deception, and murder. I agree, Matthew. Our job here is far from done.
Tell your healthcare professional if you're pregnant or if you've received any other meningitis B vaccines. Ask your healthcare professional about the risks and benefits of Bexsero, and if vaccination with Bexsero is right for your team.
Taking a look at the other ones.
We can't wait.
No Rockolite accessory. No Ascot for Lady Highmore. Deirdre Calhoun cleared from the start. Cleared early, rather. Frederick Wilson was cleared from the start. He was Easton Belmont. I'll see you guys for a Run for Your Money 2-6. Okay, folks, we've returned. Let's go to a Run for Your Money 2-6. Matthew, closing our murder investigation has opened a new mystery. It seems there's counterfeit money circulating through Wolf Street. With the stock market in a tizzy, the last thing we need is for criminals to be running around with fake money, taking advantage of desperate people. Mr. Belmont refused to say anything about the fake money or who was providing it. But I agree, if he was using these fake bills at the stock exchange, chances are we can still find some there. We need to go back. Matthew, I know you're busy, but I would like a word, whenever it's convenient. It's about my father. Of course, Viola. Matthew, I will head to the stock exchange. Meet me there as soon as you're able. Okay. Let's see what Viola has to say. Matthew, I've been obsessing over this DNA test that Charlie did when he told me my father wasn't my biological father. I spoke to my mother about it and she refused to tell me anything, but she let slip something that could be useful. She mentioned recently getting rid of the last keepsake she had from my biological father by pawning it away. I heard Mr. Bleak's got a pawn shop in Wolf Street, Matthew. Would you come with me to have a look? And we'll need some money to buy the object. If we find it, I sure hope that's where she pawned it. Okay.
So much. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Paul have already got an answer from all Atlantic Life. They knew they hit something.
Bastards, not from point. Communicable sexually transmitted disease known as one shot of penicillin that cure.
And these programs would still go on. Yeah, if the insurance company had told them.
There we go. Gold cup.
What is this? And who are you?
Matthew, the tag on this fancy cup says it was pawned by my mother. It could have belonged to my real father. It's a shot in the dark, but there is a sliver of a chance that there are still traces of my father's salivary DNA on it. The only way to know is to test. Matthew, could you take the sample for me, please? My hands are shaking too much right now.
Is this necessary? Stairs. You have the right to remain silent. You give him that right. Anything you say can be used against you in court of law. You need a head to go to the wall. My client becomes the scapegoat.
We checked with the help of one. You never reported Daniel Rice unless it's required by law.
It's the applicant's responsibility to ask why he was rejected.
Who's responsible for the 4 people he murdered because you didn't tell him?
You check thousands of applicants every year. HIV.
There we go. Matthew, you were able to collect a sample from my biological father's cup. Let's get this back to the lab immediately. It's going to be difficult to conduct my tests with my fingers crossed. 9 hours.
The Court of Appeals just ruled that you're under no obligation to inform the applicant.
You still have to notify the appropriate applicant. If we audit your records, similar cases that have slipped through the cracks, no effort to have your company to rectify the situation, not only will we charge Mr. Hunt with reckless endangerment, we will move to seize the profits of your company as assets to the crime. See how your stock moves like that. And Mr. Hunt will be sent to prison for 7 years.
Locked box.
All cases of communicable diseases. And when families of the murder victims identify these crimes, you'll sell.
That's extortion. It cost the company millions.
It cost a lot less than going bankrupt because of the publicity. In the court of public opinion, you're already guilty. Do you want to take your chances and do it?
There we go. 400.
The 37 report on your client, Mr. Devine. Do you wish to introduce any other evidence?
This is Mr. Belmont's cash box.
Mrs. Cabot.
It's possible this is where he was keeping his counterfeit money.
Not at this time, Your Honor. We look satisfied.
Let's get that box open and see if there are some bills left inside.
Not competent to assist in his own defense, therefore unfit to proceed to trial. I order him remanded into custody to the Office of Mental Health, placed in a secure psychiatric facility until he is fit to proceed. This court is adjourned.
So it's 50%.
5, 5, 4, 5, 2. Okay. 2, 5, 2, 4, 9. 9, 4, 5, 4, 2. There we are. Bingo, Matthew. There's some money left in Mr. Belmont's cash box. I never thought I'd say this, but I sure hope the money in the box is counterfeit. Let's get it to Diego to find out. Six hours, and I'll see you guys when these two are finished. Okay, folks, we have returned. Let's get the results of the saliva.
Don't worry, my friends. The blitz is back, and it starts right now.
Matthew, I'm all aflutter. The cup my mother pawned really did belong to my father. The genetic material you collected from it matches my own. When I discovered the man who had raised me was not my biological father, I feared I would never get answered. But now here I am with a sample from my real father's genetic markers. Unfortunately, genes don't come with a name tag, which means I still don't know the name of this man. But considering how opulent his cup was, I can already tell he's wealthy. Matthew, would you come with me to talk to my mother? Maybe me knowing all of this will finally prompt her to tell me the truth. Mother, I found the cup you pawned, the one that belonged to my real father. He was a man of wealth, wasn't he? Viola Pemberton, I told you not to go digging around for clues. You just can't help yourself, can you? This isn't one of your murder mysteries. Sweetheart, you are intelligent and inquisitive. You strive for justice and truth in every aspect of your life. It is what your father and I admire most in you, but which father? You know exactly which father, young lady, the father who raised you. And if he wasn't in our lives, things would have been very different. And speaking of your father, don't you dare go asking him about this nonsense. It would break his heart. You must stop this probing at once. There is only grief at the end of this road. But mother, I'll speak no more of this. Now during my spring cleaning, I found some of your old clothes. And Senior Trooper Matthew, I also found this, if you would like to have it. Matthew, my mother may be refusing to tell me who my real father is, but thanks to you, I have found a crucial piece of the puzzle. I now have a sample of my biological father's DNA. This is a huge leap in my search for him. I also know that he must have been a man of wealth. Not that it matters to me, but it will at least give me a scope of who I am looking for. I shall not stop looking until I get the answers I seek, Matthew, and I appreciate you sticking with me every step of the way.
Sources close to the Team Tell Island Sports Cougars have just 13 eligible players this week. And a heads up for tomorrow's scheduled matchups.
And the money. Matthew, what a lovely surprise. And you brought dear Madeline as well. Diego, you did get the supposed counterfeit bills we sent you, didn't you? Of course. But let's have some tea. I'll put the kettle on. Diego, we're in the middle of work. Tell us about the money, please. Why are you acting so strangely? Alright, the truth is, for the first time, I fear my genius has let you down. I have very few results to give you. Belmont's money is definitely counterfeit. I can also tell you the ink used to print the bills is a special ink I've only seen in Spain. That is where the pigment ingredients come from. There are a lot of classic counterfeiting techniques in use here, similar to work I've seen, but there are some things I had never seen before. But I'm afraid this is all I can tell you. I have no idea who crafted these bills, but I know they're talented. So we've got proof the money is counterfeit, but we still need to figure out who's forging those bills. Clever idea, Matthew. Catherine Wolfe always has her ear to the ground. She may have heard something about this counterfeit money. Let us have a word with her.
This is back. Those fans are so excited. I was surprised. Week 1, they came out. Once they see the camera, they come running in. Ready. Yeah. Awesome.
All right, speaking of surf, waves have been small here, but waves are the only attraction at the beach. Paul's back to show us what else.
Catherine, we were hoping you might be able to help us. We have found out that counterfeit money is being spread through Wolf Street, and... Counterfeit money? What a scoop! Tell me everything. Well, we were rather hoping you might tell us more. We're trying to identify the source, but so far all we've learned is that they use ink imported from Spain. Oh, piece of cake. All the Spanish ink in Concordia comes from a company called El Tintero de Oro. They're the ones supplying your counterfeiter, no doubt about it. That's great. So they'll be able to tell us who they're sending the ink to. I doubt they would. These companies keep their clients top secret, but if you could find one of their employees' suitcases, they go to the stock exchange often. Stockbrokers use a lot of ink. Thank you for the tip, Catherine. Matthew, let's grab a quick bite to eat, and then we'll head to the exchange to see what we can find. Okay.
They still live with my parents. It just saves half $1 million.
Steve Harvey, 1KITV4.
You know, Eggs and Things serves Hawaii's best breakfast. But have you ever enjoyed what they cook up daily for lunch and dinner? With local food for local people and new choice of local favorites, there's always something to try. Come in, unwind, and try something unexpected. Try Eggs and Things and Beef for lunch, dinner.
There we go.
Open every day from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Open till midnight on Friday and Saturdays, where you can always get a military or common item discount.
Great spot, Matthew. This briefcase clearly belongs to someone who works for El Tintero de Oro. Let's have a look inside. Hopefully we'll find information about our counterfeiter, since they get their ink from them. Briefcase now. That's 8. Faded delivery sheet. Matthew found a delivery sheet in the briefcase. This will list all the ink company's clients. This is exactly what we were looking for. We know the counterfeiter orders their ink from El Tintero de Oro, and if you can retrieve the information from that sheet, we might get their name.
No snow for us here in the islands, no cool temperatures either. We have seen some showers. I want to show folks what it looked like today, because we will see some more trade showers over the weekends. For the most part, lighter showers moving in. But through time-lapse video, we'll show you what it looked like over on the windward side of the Big Islands. You can see scattered clouds and showers periodically moving in this morning. That's what we can expect over the weekend as well. Checking out our Doppler radar, Hilo area, not the only spot seeing showers throughout the day. We have seen windward areas on each of the islands getting wet. The east side of Maui, up in the mountains, getting about 2 inches
There we go.
of rain so far today. That's one of the weather spots around the state, most of the showers coming in.
Nicely done, Matthew. You managed to retrieve the list of El Tintero de Oro's clients. We know our counterfeiter must be among them. Is there any name that stands out? Oh, you're right. The list is full of big company names, and then there's just this address, without so much as a last name to go with it. I agree, this is suspicious, and exactly what we might be looking for. Let's reconvene in the airship in a little while, Matthew. I'll look this address up and see if we've got a lead.
Take a look at our forecast for tomorrow. Again, breezy winds for most of us, up about 15 to 25.
Matthew, I have good news about our counterfeiter. I hear you talk of counterfeiting, but does being counterfeit truly remove all value from something? Yes. Only banknotes made of the Concordian mints can be considered legal tender. And what of love? Can a father's love be rendered counterfeit if he is not truly a father? Viola, there is nothing counterfeit about your adoptive father's love. Yes, of course, you're right. Just because I'm getting closer to figuring out who my biological father is does not mean I need to cast away the man who raised me. I'm sorry, Matthew, I still have a lot to process. I'm sure you'll find the answers you seek in time, Viola. But now, Matthew, about the counterfeiter. I looked up the address you found on the Ink Company's papers, and it's a basement lodging in Wolf Street. This must be where a counterfeiter makes their fake money. Let's go catch ourselves a criminal, Matthew.
Especially for Saturday, then backing off a bit. Trade showers up. Still sunny and warm for leaving spots.
And that's going to do for this case.
It's summertime in the Athens.
AC works in car.
Not open yet.
Or an elaborate display of biscuits and a fountain that turns blue. It's like a modern art exhibit in New York, but it's not Harmonious. We'll show you what four-legged creatures get to visit the displays. You're watching Our News at 10. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Sponsored by Spectrum, Ocean, and Time Warner Cable.
It's on the 17th. Yes, it
At
is.
Spectrum Business, we know you have to move fast.
And I'll see you guys.
But your business can only move as fast as your
And that is finished. But first of all,
fastest internet for the price, up to 60 megs per second for just $59.99 a month. That's up to 3 times faster than Hawaiian Telecom.
I got some sticker packs to open.
That's just a commitment to redefining what a cable company can be. Call now to get 60 meg Spectrum Business internet for $59.99 a month.
Aloha, this is Gabriella for the Aloha Driver Network. For the first
3 new ones.
56-year history, Little Joe, their iconic brand ambassador, Caveman, will speak. Why, after all these years, has Little Joe decided
Only
to call
3.
now? Some speculate coming off the heels of winning the #1 Top Shop award in the nation. So perhaps the question is not why is he speaking, but what will he say?
4 new ones.
Stay tuned for live coverage of this historic event, and please visit lexroadies.com.
I'm so happy that I listened to your fall prevention tips and installed several grab bars in Mom's house. Last week, the grab bar hadn't been there. Mom would have fallen apart. She's so independent and active. We did the right thing. Make your home safer by installing grab bars.
Okay.
Trip hazards and using night lights. Get a home safety checklist from the Department of Health and prevent falls.
Well, things are really starting to come along here. And that's going to do. I might do another case in Elite Mode since I managed to finish pretty early. I'll see you all then. We'll see what happens.